Welcome back everyone to another lecture on SystemVerilog mailboxes. And this time we will just go ahead and start with a very simple example. And for this example, we will write a module and we will call it test. And first we will declare a mailbox and call it mail. And then we will declare some variables that will be used by the get method to store the data from the mailbox. So first declare a string and call it str, and declare an int and call it I, and also we will be using uh, certain string variables just to store the string inside the mailbox using the put method, and they are very crucial here, and I will discuss more about this in my upcoming lecture. So let's call three random string. We could name it whatever we want. So let's call the first one as uh, string sv, and it will have a value of system verilog, and let's call the another string as py, and it will have a value of python, and let's call uh, another string as uv, and it will have a value of uvn. So I will clear more things about why I'm using the strings in later in my example. So without any further delay, let's begin with our initial block. So inside our initial block, the very first thing we will do is to declare an object for the mailbox mail, and observe right here, just a second, and observe right here, since I am not using any any value inside the constructor, the new method, so it will be an unbounded mailbox, which just means that I could store as many values I want. So right after this, we will begin with our regular fork join, and inside this we will run two threads in parallel. The first one will be the producer thread, and the producer thread will be the one which will use the put method to put the values inside the mailbox. So it will be using put methods for most of the time, and the other thread will be the consumer thread, and the consumer thread, as the name suggests, it will be taking the items from the mailbox. So it will be using methods like uh, get, try get, or peek, or even try peek. So let's begin step by step. So let's say at 0 time units, I am putting uh, the very first string sp. So to do that, I have to write the name of the handle, which is mail in our case, and then I have to write the put method, and then uh, I will write the name of that string. So the very first thing that I am putting inside the mailbox is a string, and it will be the very first to be taken out by the consumer. So what will happen? First of all, this is time slot 0, and suppose this is the data structure of our mailbox. So by putting sv inside the mailbox, our mailbox mail will look something like this. So it will have one value, and that will be a string value, SystemVerilog, as we have declared right here. So in the very same time slot, uh, let us use the peak method from the consumer side. So as I have already discussed, that the peak method will not remove the item from the mailbox. Instead, it will copy that particular item from the mailbox. So since we just put the SystemVerilog string inside the mailbox, the peak method will look into it, and also peak method needs some kind of variable of string data type to assign that particular value, because that value is in string. So we will be using our string variable, which we have declared right here, and I will write str, and right after that I will mention the time unit. It is happening at 0 time unit at the same time, and right after when it takes the SystemVerilog, it assign the value of str as the string. So this is a string. So str will get SystemVerilog. And since we are using the peak method, not the get method, the mailbox will still retain its value of SystemVerilog. So besides this, I will write another initial block, and I will use a $monitor system task inside it, and it will just monitor the value of both the variables and when is the change happening, at what time unit the change is happening. So I will just write str equals to %s, and the I variable equals to %0d at time %0t. So we will put the values str, I, and $time. So this monitor block will keep monitoring any changes made to the string variable or to the int variable. So here, what we are expecting, since the str is getting a value of SystemVerilog, we will see on the console or on the transcript that str gets a value of SystemVerilog, whereas int has its default value of 0, and all of this will be happening at time 0. So let's check this out. I will open the QuistaSim. Let's compile our SV file. Let's start the simulation. And let's run the simulation. As you can see it right here that str gets a value of SystemVerilog while I retains its previous value of 0, and all of this is happening at 0 time units. So let's move on to our next statements for both the processes. So let's say that here after 2 time units we are using again the put method, and this time we are putting an integer, an int value of 7, let's say, and all of this is happening at 2 time units. And how does it affect the mailbox? So the very first value will be SystemVerilog, and the second value is going to be 7. So the head has a value of SystemVerilog and the tail has a value of 7. And then I will move to my consumer thread. So inside the consumer thread, let's say we are moving to the same time slot after 2 time units, and this time instead of peak method we are using the get method, and we will assign the head which is of string data type to str again. So what will happen? No change will happen. So the only change will happen is will be with the mailbox. So again uh, at 2 time units str will again have a value of SystemVerilog, and since the value of str does not change even though technically you are feeding SystemVerilog string again, the monitor will not detect any change, hence it will not print anything in the transcript. It will remain the same. But as for the mailbox, since this time we are using the get method, not the peak method, it will just remove the SystemVerilog from the head, and we will be left with 7, the integer value which we put right here in on line number 18. So the mailbox will look something like this. So this will not print anything since we are not detecting any change to either of the variables, but still let's go ahead and run the code. As you could see it right here that it does not cause any change, and we are getting the same output that we got during our previous run. So let's go ahead and do some more modifications. So let's say in the consumer side, uh, maybe 2 time units later, uh, we are we are taking the value of the we are taking the remaining value of 7. So we will be using get method again, and this time we will not use the string variable. Instead we will use the I variable because that particular value is not a string data type. So I will write I right here, and let's visualize when is this happening. It is happening 2 time units after the second time slot, so it is happening at 4 time units. And here the str, not the str, here the I will change finally with a new value, and that value is 7. And since we are using the get method, the the mailbox will be empty. And right after that, we will do some more modifications. So we will use another thing. We will use a peak method again, and this time I am expecting, let's say, a string. So I will use my str variable, and I'm doing this, let's assume 1 time units later. So this will be happening at 5 time units. And on the same time, in the consumer side, let's say 4 time units later, I am putting uh, a string value. And this time, let us try the Python value. So I will put py. Since it is 4 time units later, uh, it will just add the string value of Python inside the mailbox, and all of this is happening at 6 time units, because 4 plus 2 is 6. So yeah, and here we will have a mailbox with a single string called Python. So getting back to our consumer side, you will notice one difference. So the consumer is trying to peek, is trying to copy the head of the mailbox when the mailbox is empty, because during 5 time units our mailbox is empty, and only during 6 time units the producer puts a value of Python inside the mailbox. Since we are using peek, not try peek, and peek, like get, is blocking in nature, so it will just stall the process, it will just block the process until and unless it finds out the desired value inside the mailbox. And the desired value, that is of string data type, is being put during the time slot number 6. So it will wait till the per producer put the string value, which is going to happen at time slot number 6. So it remained blocked till time slot number 6, when it finally finds that the consumer has put another value, and that value is of string data type. So right after it happens, it just unblocks the process, and it just copies the word Python to the string. So str will get something like this. And right after getting this, it will not affect the mailbox in any way, and it will remain Python. After all, we are using the peek method. So the change will be detected at 6 time units, and the monitor will display the new value of string. So let's go ahead and just run this code to check whether this is happening or not. And also the another change will happen right here at time at 4 time units, that I will get a value of 7. So there will be 2 additional lines in our transcript. So without any further delay, let's compile the code again. So as you could see it right here that I gets a value of 7 at time slot at 4 time units, which we have discussed right here. And since by this time, by time unit 5, the mailbox is empty, so the consumer thread will get blocked right here, and it will wait till in the 6th time unit the producer thread puts the value of Python, which you could see it right here. And the value of str changes from SystemVerilog to Python at 6 time units. So let's move on and make some more changes. So right after that, we have a mailbox that has a single string value, and let's say at 3 time units later, let's put an integer value. Let's say 3. So 3 time units later, the consumer puts an integer value, and that equates to 9 time units. So at 9 time units, the consumer put a value of 3 to the mailbox, which changes our mailbox like this. So at the head, we will have a string value of Python, and then at the tail, we will have 3. So this is happening at 3 time units. So at 9 time units. So with the consumer, let's try some modifications. So this time, let us use the try get method. Yeah. And inside the try get method, we will mention the string, and since the SystemVerilog in SystemVerilog, if you are using a function which returns some value, and if you are not static casting it to void, it will show warning. So just to avoid warning, we will do the static cast, and the return type will be nothing or void. And all of this is happening 2 time units after this, which is at 8th time slot. So what will happen at 8 time slot? So this puts the value of 9 at 9 time slot, but still before 8, that is 6, we have a value of Python, and at time slot number 8, this will detect the value of Python, and it will just remove that value of Python, and it will assign it to string. So we need to do some correction, since the consumer will use the try get method to take the value of the Python from the head. Here we won't be having any other value other than 3, and here at 9 time units our mailbox will be empty. It is only at 9 time units our mailbox will have a value of 3, and at 8 time units our mailbox will be empty. So right after that, so when we will assign the value of Python to string, it will not cause monitor to trigger again, because the previous value of string was also Python, and which you could see it right here. And even though we just feed it a new value, but since the value did not change, monitor will not detect and monitor will not print it on the console or on the transcript. So what it does, the try get method here, it leaves the mailbox empty. So right after that, let's say 1 time units later, we will again use the try get method, but this time we will try to remove the value of 3. So again I will void cast it, and this time since our targeted value is 3, I will use my I data type, or the I variable has a data type of int. So what will happen right here, that at the 9 time units, uh, the producer will put a value of 3 and consumer will use the try method and it will check and it will succeed, and it will then assign the value of 3 to I, and hence after getting the value of 3 from the mailbox, that particular value will be removed and again mailbox will be empty. So we will have our dollar monitor triggered, and it will change the value of I from the previous value of 7 to a new value of 3. So let's check this out. So as you could observe it right here, that uh, the value of I is getting updated to 3 at 9 time units, as I have discussed it right here. And there is no race round condition in try get method or get method when you are putting it on that same time slot, and the consumer is getting it on that same time slot, it will just succeed in doing so. So other than this, we could try out a couple more things. So we still have one of our string left, that is UVM. So let's say uh, 3 time units later, I put the string UV, and here also uh, let's say that 4 time units later, I am trying to get the string, that is UV, and 4 time units later after 9 will be 13, and here 3 time units later after 9 will be 12. So in 12, I put the value of UV so that our mailbox will look something like this. And right after that, at 13 time slot, we will just detect that value and we will assign that value to the string. So str will get UVM, and then the value of UVM will get removed from our mailbox, leaving it empty. And right after that, hmm, what we could do, let's say 2 time units later, we are putting a value of 9. So this means this will happen at 14 time units, and again our mailbox will have a value of 9. And here 2 time units later I will use the get method for that value, and 2 time units later means that at 15 time units compared to 14 time units. So what will happen here, at 14 time units we will put the value of 9 to the mailbox, and here it will just assign that value to I, leaving the mailbox empty again. So this time our $monitor system task will detect two changes. The second last change will be at 13 time units, and that change will be to the value of str. It will change its value from Python to UVM, and the last change will be at 15 time units, in which the value of I will change from 3 to 9. So let's find out whether it works. As you could see it right here, that the value of str is getting changed to UVM at 13 time slot, as I have discussed, and the value of I is getting changed to 9 at 15 time units, as I have discussed right here. So that was a very simple example in which uh, we are running two threads in parallel. The first thread is the producer thread, which is using the put method, and the second thread is the consumer thread, which is using a variety of different methods like get, try get, peek. So that's all about this example. I hope you find this video useful. Please stay tuned for more. Thank you so much.